Yo. All right, there we go. What's up? I see you, Magnus. What's up, man? Is the light too bright behind me? Because you can't really see me. Let's do this. Let's close this somewhat, just so we can see me. Shane, what is up? What's up, man?
Hello.
Oh, there's the man of the hour. Gary, what's up, man?
Yeah, we just have to get over to where the kiosk is.
Nah, you good, man. I figured, like I told you, I wanted to do a live with you on video tomorrow. Okay, so this one is going to be one where we're actually live. All right. And I just wanted to speak with you, man. I know we got time we got to use. You're going to be out in 4 days now. So how's everything going with you, man?
Pretty good, actually.
All right. Yeah, that's good. That's good, man. So
there you go.
Uh-oh, the man, Gary. Yes. And we got a while to chat, man. I'm so glad we're going to use up this time.
Yep.
So what's the latest on you, man? Anything interesting going on over there?
Well, only thing new is I mentioned on the text is I got contacted by Toronto Star.
I seen that.
Newspaper where I used to live in Canada. They want to do an article about me when I get back.
That is nice. How did they get in contact with you? Was it easy for them, or how did that work?
They just mailed a letter, but it was because I actually watching your podcast.
Yo, I am so happy to hear that, man. And I'm really praying that like people go, yo, I seen this podcast. I want to give you money. Yo, I'm hoping this can help, man. You know what I mean? I'm hoping this blessing help. So, yo, we are live, man. And I'm looking at the chat just to see if anybody does ask anything. Okay. Anybody can ask any question they want. We do got a couple people that are regulars here, Gary, that are very familiar with you. Some of these individuals even claim that they had some connection with you back in the day. All right, we're just gonna keep that off the record until you can get out. All right, we'll talk about that more in detail. All right, but Gary, before we get into all the good stuff, man, let me ask: how did you feel about the Lakers losing?
I watched it. I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah.
The chances of them coming back are next to impossible. You know that. It'd be history in the making.
It would be history. It would be never done before. And guess what? LeBron James is good, but he ain't that good, man. You might as well just wrap it up. Denver finals, Miami finals. I think that's going to be our two teams.
You also got to take a look at the fact that when you live most of your life up high on a mountain, which Denver does, you actually have more stamina.
Yeah, they don't know about that. Gary, they understand the breathing conditions.
Yeah.
You preaching, man, because I was in I think that was Deer Valley, Utah. Same thing. You'll notice when you're high in the mountains, it's at one point you feel like you're at a loss of breath almost. It's like you don't have as much air. Yeah. And then over time, it gets normal.
Yeah, people like that live in California, they go to live in Denver, they don't come accustomed to it. And then the opposite, when the people from Denver go to California, they have more strength and more stamina.
Yeah, see, he preaching, and you know what? That was talked about. People did talk about that, and it kind of looked like it because Denver seemed really fresh. And you see the Lakers out there just dragging, like, can't hit a bucket. You know what I mean? It was, I wanted them to win so bad, Gary. I'm not going to lie. But I am happy for Jokic. I'm happy for Denver. And at least it's Denver and Miami, two teams we don't typically see in the finals. So, hey, let them have at it, man. And I don't know if you watch hockey because you told me the Maple Leafs are out.
The Maple Leafs just fired their general manager. So.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs, they don't play, man. When they lose, they're like, we need to make changes now. But that's crazy, man.
In Boston, they're probably going to fire their coach.
Yeah, I agree. They're going to fire their coach, too. That's so crazy nowadays, man. You remember where you used to have a long time to try to build teams, and even if you had a great year, they give you like 2 or 3 more bad years. Now it's like, if you ain't good that first, couple years, too, you out the door, man. No, we ain't thinking about it. Oh, man. So I do had it, this was kind of spur of the moment because the next one we're going to do is the one where I want to have the super chat and the donations, everything set up. So we do got people here. And if anybody does donate, I'm going to ask any question. But right now, the donations, I'm going to put a link to my PayPal, okay? Because I don't want anybody else like YouTube or anything taking a little bit off the top, Gary. I don't like that. Okay, and YouTube take like 30%. Nah, this needs to be your money. You know what I mean? I don't like that too much. So the Toronto Star, man, what do they want to talk of? They just want to do a whole like shebang of everything?
Probably just a whole article, like story. I've done a lot of stuff over the years.
True.
I've always been involved in technology, so
yeah. I know the Texas Instrument world, when I heard what that guy said, I said, man, you must have started Texas Instruments, damn it, the way they took it. They love you, man. They love you out there. I don't know, you must have put in some great work for Texas Instruments. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I did.
So, Gary, when you get out, man, everybody knows you're now going to be flown to Toronto. You got some things set up for you, little things, not a lot. But one of the things we talked about was a place that would be comfortable for you to live for a reasonable amount, maybe even for a week or two, just something till you get back right. You know what I mean? So I do have some places that I will message you after this. I want to have the convo immediately after this. I can send them to you. We do got a list of places. Okay. So yep, I know what you needed. That was the one thing I was focused on. So the list of places done. I'm not gonna go over them on live. People don't need to know what the hell, but
you can send photographs too.
Yeah, and I remember you said the photograph. I got the places and the address, prices. I'm gonna do photographs, and I remember you said that, so at least you could see, and then that way you could decide right from the beginning. Okay, cool with that. Now post that PayPal. Look, they like post the PayPal, man. You know what I mean? They like post it. I'm posting it now, man. All right, give me a second, y'all. Let me do it. PayPal. I gotta get it. I used to know it off the top, but I don't know it now. All right, here we go. Donate. Bam, it's lit up. My donate. Come on. PC a little slow, but we got an hour. There we go. Link. I'm getting my link now, man. I'm about to post it in there so they can chill out. They can chill out. 4 Gary questions. All right. So when they click it, they're going to see it. Boom. Continue. And bam. Here come the link, y'all. All right. Shareable link. Copy. And we got it. Bam. Got it up there. That is the PayPal link directly for Gary. All right. And I have it up so I could see when those donations come through. So if anybody could test, let's send $1, $2, anything. Let's just see if we're able to see the notification. All right. Because I want to see the notification. And somebody just let me know in the chat when y'all donate. All right, just let me know. Just let me know so I can go ahead and make sure we got it. I got notifications too. Let me close out everything, man, because, you know, people be all in my notifications. Yeah, they can go back and pause too. I ain't got nothing that juicy. All right, there we go. Notifications clear. Okay, so when it come through, I should be able to see bing, PayPal, donation, and I can go ahead and take a look and I can see the question. All right, let me see. Anybody donate? Yeah, anybody donate? Yo, chat, when y'all at? Okay, we got some working on it. They're working on it. Okay. I got my PayPal balance up too and the donation balance. Boom. Refresh. So while we waiting on that and we waiting on somebody to just donate anyway, Gary, the Toronto Star, found you from my... Yo, I told you, you popular, Gary. You already have been around the world in that. You know, newspapers all over. So to you, you're like, Toronto Star. Let me sit down with them for a minute. For me, I'm like, yo, Toronto Star heard about me, Gary? Oh, you know, man. But when you get back, that's nice as Toronto Star because they hopefully can have somewhere where close by where you at, where you could just sit down and they can go through everything with you, man.
And Toronto's becoming an IT city, similar to Seattle, so there's a lot of tech companies and everything there. So there's a lot of people interested in technology and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And there's a growing debate. Before they've been discussing it a few times already about the fact that people want to be able to repair their own equipment and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to do that is to modify stuff. So there's going to be a debate that's going to be happening over the next couple years. Even some states have already passed right to repair bills. I was reading on the news earlier. I forget the exact details because we're allowed to browse the news here. That's the only thing we're allowed to browse: the big newspapers and CNN and BBC and stuff. And there's already one place where they exception is allowed to bypass technology controls if you're using it to repair the device.
Nice. Damn. So Gary, you ain't lying. Okay, so they're gonna get deep. This is not gonna this might be like you said, a bigger discussion.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
You know, let me ask then, Gary, and by the way, Shane, thank you for the donating $10. Thank you, Shane. Much appreciated. Appreciate that, Shane. It does come up too. I'm able to drop down a notification and I could see that Shane donated $10. So that's wonderful. Everything is good. Shane, if you got any question, pop it in there. Just let us know. I can attach a message. Well, cool. I can see that you donated. So if you donated, just pop the chat right in there in our Restream chat. Just pop it in there. I can see that you donated. So just ask the question away. But Gary, let me ask, since we're talking about a bigger discussion, AI. We have seen AI pretty much this year with ChatGPT, a lot of things. Talk to me about it. What do you think about AI, man?
There's a lot of possibilities. I mean, I spent some of my early years working on a lot of that stuff before mainly on the theories and the stuff because the technology wasn't available at the time.
Yeah.
My company name is very complex. My original company name, Oasis Pensive Abacadors. And pensive is another word for being thoughtful. And my original goal when I originally went into technology was to work on making computers be able to think. And that's why I came up with that name. And Abacadors was made from two words, abacus and computer, stuck together. So the very first Chinese calculator with the latest, I coined the word myself a long time ago as a way of, that's going to be the next generation of computers, something, the next step. More than right now, computers just numbers 0 and 1.
Yep.
And what has happened is because you have so much world connected together now, everything's connected. The AI stuff is very simple. It's not really thinking on its own. It's just using a massive amount of information out there in the world and piecing it together. Anybody could do it themselves, but a computer, of course, can analyze information and piece it together quicker than a human could look like at 1 million websites at once. That's basically what it's doing. It's just looking at 1 million or 10 million or even 1 billion pieces of information at once and then piecing it together. So it's not really directly syncing, but it's basically high speed analyzing and combining. Something that anybody can do on their own, but it would take a long time, a much longer time.
I'm glad that you put it like that, man, because you're right. Everybody sees it and they go, yo, I need to write a letter to my mom. So I write an 81-page letter and I feed it to a machine and say, hey, give me 3 different versions, you know, and this machine could take what I wrote and interpret it in 3 different ways. That one might could have a soft tone, one could have a more urgent tone, one could sound angry. So it is something that a lot of people don't think. They think like, oh, this thing is thinking on its own. It's coming up with its own. But you're right. It's using specific algorithms, and those algorithms are reading what you put in there. And the computer's just very good at interpreting that and being able to spit something else out.
But it is a threat to our current way of life because it can replace your job. Already, Wendy's went ahead and replaced the order taker with AI. So when you drive up to the drive-thru and you say, "Oh, I want to order a large fries with a soda and a chicken burger," you're not talking to a human. You're talking to AI.
Yep.
And it can handle a conversation with you, which is it's a big leap forward.
It
Originally, when I was working technology and Texas, but they were working on voice recognition and speech synthesizing. Back then, that's all the computer could do. It could talk and it could recognize your voice, but it couldn't really carry on a conversation with you. So it's going to be interesting. And it's probably also changed video games too. I see the next generation of video games incorporating in it. Imagine if you playing a video game, you could have a conversation with a video game character.
Yeah.
So it's gonna change a lot.
Woo. Okay. So Gary, now one person that donated had this question. Of course, we're gonna ask, like I told you, you are the one that could answer anything. But Shane had a question. Sherry says, Gary, do you have contact with either, and they got the names here, but let's just say either of your 2 co-defendants?
No contact whatsoever.
Okay.
Even if I could, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't do it. That's not wise, and it won't be done in the future either because it's just pointless. I mean, we got to move on into a new thing and start new ventures. Can't go back in the past and if I get into trouble again, it's an automatic 10-year sentence. So 10 10 years. I'm already 54. That means we'll get a jail to 64.
Gary, stop, man. Stop, Gary. We don't need you going to jail till you right. Nah, man. We don't need that. But down to question. So, Gary, not to even, because I don't want to go too much on that, but can you explain to people how bad things could go if you were to try to do that? Could you explain? Because I think a lot of people think that, oh, Gary could just come out and it's all over. He served his time, Can you explain that kind of that things are still ongoing with these other co-defendants, that, that you being able to reach out to them might hold you liable on certain ends? Can you just kind of explain? Because I just want to make sure everybody understands.
Yeah, I could, because I have a civic lawsuit with Nintendo, and it's been settled for $10 million. I'm liable for more damages if there's new activity, even though it's settled. So even right now, original damages go up because the switches still get hacked and they still get modified. But so there's no point of trying anything again. It would be pointless. I don't want to risk it. I don't think anybody else wants to risk it either.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you, because I know how those things go, man. And a lot of times, Gary, I'm just going to say something because a lot of people don't know this about me. When I first wrote you, Gary, the first time, it just came spur of the moment. I was just like, man, I've been, dealing with beta testing these chips, and I've been using TM Executor since Xbox, and you know what? I covered it immediately when you got extradited, and they also, I believe, extradited Max, and it was a story that I talked about in the podcast. Now, immediately, I was like, "Yo, it's some way I gotta find out more. I gotta talk to this guy, man. I ain't even spoke to him. I feel like I swear, Gary, I swear you knew me already. I thought I was in deep. I said he know me. You know what I mean? I've been talking. I've been doing it. He know me. So when I wrote you, I was just like, yo, hopefully he just gets my letter and everything's okay. And when you wrote back, I was happy, man. I was like, yo, he's real. This is not a joke. He is not some underground, king leader that you can't touch. And, it was a lot of mystery behind your name. So much so that when we did our first interview that went kind of big, people were covering it because it was the first time they were able to see your face. So, Gary, let me ask, how have you been able to be this prominent figure, but keep a low profile? Very difficult to do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but I never really wanted any fame or anything. I'm not that kind of person. I've always been a humble person, man.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Yo, the way people talk about you from all the things that you did in the scene, they not humble. They talk about you like, oh my goodness, it's him, Mr. Texas Instruments himself. And I'm like, oh, hey, I know him as Gary, but you're right. And hearing about you talk about AI, it seems like that quite a bit. Now, there's another question I'm gonna get to, because this was shout out Chelsea for the donation. Thank you, Chelsea. And that is another $10 donation. Thank you, Chelsea. So it says, we're shocked at the amount of people that were there for you or not there for you after you were locked up, more or less. Is it more or less than you expected as far as the contact for you while you've been locked up?
It's less than I expected in some ways. Not really in people that I chatted with and online and all that. I expected no one, those kind of people, to ever contact me because of the possibly getting roped in or things like that. But was a shock to me was actual personal friends, people that had no connection whatsoever to the scene, that I used to have like dinner with and sit around and drink with, and they just totally like disappeared.
Damn.
They were no longer part of my life, even though they couldn't be roped into it. Had no connection whatsoever, and these are just people that I would play poker with, or drink with, or just do other things in life with.
I agree.
And I had no connection whatsoever. Some of these people didn't even play video games in their life, and yet they just disappeared in my life.
Yeah,
and it's sad because I helped out some of those people too. Like financially, I helped some of those people, and they had when I needed help and turn around and need help for money, there's like, some of them even turned around and sent me death threats and stuff. So it's
damn.
It makes you rethink of who your real friends are.
Yeah, seriously.
And what's really there. And then I think the shocking thing was some people that I had lost contact with over the years. And this is mainly in the people in the Texas world. There was a few people that I haven't talked to at all. And I was surprised that they cared, and they actually mailed letters to me while I was in prison. People that I didn't even know their phone number or address anymore, and it's like, wow. So that was nice.
Yeah, I agree.
There was people that I didn't think of, and I wasn't talking to every day, and yet they had my back more than people that I was with every day in my life. So it makes you rethink what the term friend is, and what real friends are. It may not be the person that's directly in front of you, eating a meal with you. It actually may be somebody that you don't even talk to, but is actually thinking about you.
Thank you, yo.
So it's interesting.
You preaching right now, Gary. That is a life lesson that I think a lot of people are going to overlook, even that you said it. But me, myself, I remember getting locked up, and the first night, home getting broken into. First call I made was being told all my stuff stolen, right? While you're in jail. And, of course, right? Calling my family, calling friends, everybody. And I can't blame them, because sometimes it's situation based, right? Like it might happen at a time where some people just don't have it. Okay. And I understand that. My situation, it was that, but the one person who was able to put up money to help me in the beginning before everyone else was one of my old customers who was a truck driver that I modified his Xbox years ago. He found me. He was able to find my girlfriend at the time. He was able to reach out to her and said, does Nick need any money? And that didn't come from, best friends, people I've been talking to, my next door neighbors, none of them. Random guy that I had no idea. And guess what? It still sits with me to this day. I still think about him. His name's Derek. And I always go, damn, I'm going to make sure I try to live my life like that. If I ever feel like I just want to give off my heart, or if it's somebody that I feel like I care about, or I want to do something, I'm just going to do it. I don't give a damn what nobody say, because their own friends might not be helping them. And when I message you, it's kind of similar. I feel like this whole thing is the same exact scenario. Like you get in there thinking, man, I helped this person out financially. They're going to be the ones. No. Oh, I was mentally there when someone was going through a hard period in their life and they ain't there. And then you're waiting on a letter, right? And people don't understand, Gary, those letters and how important they are in jail. Okay, a lot of people don't understand. That's like some people's only communication at times.
Especially when I first got arrested, because being arrested in 2020, it was during COVID, of course, and letters was the only form of communication. The phones were cut off. They weren't letting you out of the cell to touch anything, so they were afraid if you went to use the phone, make a phone call, then the next person would use the phone could catch your virus. So for the first 6 months, there was no communication whatsoever. No lawyers, no phone calls, no nothing. Letter was the only thing that you could do. And it was good to actually get a couple letters during those 6 months from people that I didn't wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah.
So it was interesting because I hadn't even been able to make phone calls. So I met those people, saw news online, searched it, find out what prison I was in, and took the time and effort to write me a letter. So that was good.
That is, and the time and effort. You're right, because a lot of people take writing letters for granted. We at a new day and age where everybody's got phones, they're texting, typing on Word, and you don't get a lot of people to sit down and write the letter. And when you write the letter, you're reading my actual handwriting. You can almost feel a human behind it versus when you're reading an email. You kind of feel like even if it's a human, it could sometimes come off robotic, and I just can't explain how important those letters is. So you hit that perfectly. Now, there's someone else. Thank you for the donation, Dr. Specimen. Okay. He has a question. This is a great question. Okay. Says, Gary, do you still plan on playing video games once you're settled back home? Part one. And the second part is, other than that, what do you do for recreation?
Well, I do plan to play some video games. Of course, not any Nintendo games.
You ain't gonna get that new Zelda and try, Gary. Yeah.
Well, I'll most likely buy an Xbox or a PlayStation. I don't know if I'll buy the latest. I think I still have an Xbox 360 in storage, actually, back in Canada. I'll have to dig it out. Because recently here in this detention center, when we're good and we're behaving, which we have been recently, we're allowed to play on an Xbox 360 some old games. Just before I talked to you, actually, I was playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I got like 554,000 bounty, and my gamer score is up to like 165,000. So if anybody ever ends up here in this same detention center and they look at the 360, they'll see a Gary OPA profile on the console there. So,
yo, now that's hilarious, man. I just stopped by. I'm like, oh man, go ahead and cut on that 360. Gary OP. I know, man. Yo, that is good. A Hot Pursuit, man. People don't understand. Probably the best Need for Speed. Some people get mad at that. But to me, Hot Pursuit, oh God, was such a great Need for Speed game. It was 2 racing games for 360 that I played over and over. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Those were the 2 racing games
we don't have that one here. It's we try to get some other games here. We got like all the old sports games from 2015.
Classics.
We got Tiger Woods 06. We got Madden 15 and NBA 12 or 13. But it's hard to find actually original 360 games anymore.
It is.
On the consoles. And there's a lot of people that actually want to play the consoles. And that's going to be another issue when it comes to modifying and stuff, is because people want to play the older systems and they want to play the older games, but eventually the older material disappears.
Yep.
So how are you gonna do it?
You're right, man. So let me ask this about that, Gary, and I'm glad you were on that because that's like right where I want to hit to. There were like Microsoft, right, on the Xbox, I think it was Series X or the Xbox One. You could play emulators in certain games by putting your Xbox in developer mode. It was almost like Microsoft was in support of kind of emulation. And you have other consoles that really didn't take that approach. And you're right, these games that were older games that you may have owned for hardware that may no longer be working. Let's be honest. These are systems coming out in the 90s, early 2000s, and hardware does deteriorate over time. So if you lose the ability to play that cartridge, do you think we're heading to the point where all these different manufacturers are going to be taking their IP rights to the fullest, and they're going to make sure that pretty much those old games do disappear, and they are the only ones allowed to bring it out on a server or maybe fan art. They're the only ones that can do it. Nobody else.
Yeah, it's good. It's another big debate because as more and more stuff goes digitally, they have the right just to push the delete button and it no longer exists.
Right.
And it's going to be a problem. Like even and there's older consoles that are being reissued, but is the older games being reissued? So it's a trouble, you know.
That is a trouble. So let me ask next. One thing that was big, especially with your case, Gary, is the way they handle DMCA laws. It seems like to me those laws get abused frequently. How do you feel about the DMCA laws? Because they're made to protect, right, these different companies, but at the same time, if I purchase a system, right, hey, I want to get more out my system. I want to be able to watch, maybe it doesn't have Spotify or YouTube or Hulu or different apps that I want to use. So I modify it to be able to play these apps. At that point, I could be held liable based on the DMCA rules because I technically circumvented copyright protection. Is that kind of how DMCA works? Like, no matter what, if anything you do that breaks copyright protection is considered illegal, or are there some grounds where it is okay?
Yeah, it is a problem. They keep making exceptions a little bit. Like recently, washers and dryers are very electronic now. There's a lot of electronics in the new smart washers and dryers, especially from Samsung and stuff. And it's a lot harder for someone to repair those devices while passing the technology measures. And they recently made an exception that you're allowed to repair a washer and dryer and bypass whatever protection is there. But if the device contains a sound recording, you can't. Now that's a major issue because now a manufacturer all he has to do is put in some little musical jingle in their device. And a lot of devices do have that. Your washer could just play like ding dong when the load's done. As long as it does that, then you don't have the right to bypass the technology measures.
You just taught me something new, man. And you know what? I can't understand. You literally laid that out perfect, man.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Even your coffee maker. I mean, it could play a tone when your pot is done, but then you wouldn't be able to modify the coffee maker. Yeah.
Yo, that is crazy. But I'm glad, like you're right, that changed because you are right. The guy that was fixing washer and dryers 20 years ago didn't have to deal with any of that, and now you're right. These devices are literally, they might as well just be handled mostly computer. It's a lot of, electronic components, but the computer handles a lot of it. Sensors, there's so many different sensors in these things. I can't even count now. And if it has one jingle in there, now they are not allowed to circumvent. DMCA is dumb, Gary. I'm just sorry. That's just stupid. Okay. What is the point of, so is there some copyright or proprietary rights to the jingle? Like, what is going on there?
It's just the way the law is written, because sound recording is protected. Man. So even when they have an exception, then you still have something else that gets in the way.
So Gary, do you think a normal person, me or you, we at home, my system's having problems, do I have the right to repair it?
Well, it's probably always going to be no problem if you're doing something independently by yourself. Where the issue comes in is shops that offer a service where you have a business and you're advertising that you can repair and fix these washers and dryers or other devices, and you have customers coming into you and getting work done. That's where you have an issue. And it's going to be an issue even now with cars, because so many cars contain electronics. And if you want to, like a Tesla, you can only have your Tesla fixed by a Tesla dealer.
Yep.
you can't go anywhere else. So it's going to be a lot of changes, that's for sure. People are going to have to adjust.
And it's funny you mention that, Gary. I'm going to tell you something very interesting. So there was a car that I was trying to get insurance for. I was denied from multiple insurance companies. And guess why? There was a TikTok trend that shows how you can hack these vehicles and steal the car with no key, strictly certain steps that you would press, and these computers would understand, and the car would start. TikTok trend blew up so big that now a car that I have is being denied insurance because how easy these vehicles are to steal. Is that something we're gonna see more of, you think?
It's already I was having a discussion here with someone else, and it's happened just on cars being manufactured. Like you can buy a car in Canada that's manufactured in Canada. Yeah. And a lot of times these cars will end up in America and on a used car lot because somebody's sold the car and bought an American car or some other car. It's exactly the same model, the same name and everything else, but it originally came from Canada. When an American goes to buy that car off the used lot, they can't get it serviced. They can't take it even to the authorized dealer because it's no longer in the jurisdiction where it originally came from.
So you're telling me you got to, if you can't drive it, how the hell do you pay to get your vehicle back?
You got to drive it back into Canada to get it serviced. Even an authorized dealer won't fix it.
Yo, what I'm hearing today, we got so many weird laws and rules. That is weird, man. You have to drive. I understand. No, you're right. Jurisdiction, law. So by law, you have to drive back to Canada and get your vehicle. Oh, man. This is crazy, man. Now, Gary, and we did get 3 donations so far. So I want to thank those that donated. I had someone put the link back in again for any more donations for questions. We will do another one. Like I said, you get out the 25th. How much time do you got left? Do I need to put a couple dollars on there? How much do we got left? Because I want to try to we're going to do another one for sure. But I would love to get to, because any of these donations are truly helping, man. And they can go straight to you whenever you get out. So, yeah, man, do you got enough time on there or?
Yeah, we have enough. We can do a couple more video calls before I leave.
Cool.
Most likely they're going to pack me up sometime on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because my flight's early on Thursday morning. So we have the rest of the day, and we have Monday and Tuesday. Maybe part of
Wednesday. But then you're going to be out. Okay. I ain't going to lie, Gary. It's going to be so weird to see a background if I speak to you, and it's like the street and cars and people. I'm going to be like, what the hell, Gary? This is weird. You know what I mean? Damn. And for you, Gary, now that you got the days coming down, it seems like you got a lot of things you're putting in order for when you get out already. When I send you the list of different places, is there anything else that you could think of that might be needed? These donations are helping, which, by the way, when you get out, we have to, I know you're going to have a phone and a laptop, so you'll be able to set up maybe PayPal, Cash App, or whatever it is for me to get these funds to you. Yeah. All right, cool.
That's true.
That's good. I just want to make sure. So, man, we still got time, man. People donated. Some people don't want their name shown. Okay, because I'm live. So when people donate, I got to make sure to not pull it down anymore, because I got people that said don't show my name. Yeah, So, Gary, now you mentioned about the Xbox. You're going to play an Xbox or a PlayStation when you get out. Is there anything that was said specifically when the sentence was served for Nintendo? Like, were you told, Gary, don't touch another Nintendo game, or did they kind of not give you anything on that, but you're just choosing yourself to stay the hell away from Nintendo?
No, there's really no restrictions much at all. But if I do The only restriction would be to discuss Nintendo or own Nintendo, but it's not really something that I'm too worried about.
Yeah. Okay.
But I don't want take any chances or anything, so I'm just gonna stay away from it.
I ain't blaming you, man. But you know what? One thing you are gonna have to do, Gary. I don't care if you go in there with the black trench coat with the hoodie. Go watch that Super Mario movie, man. Just go and sit down in the theater, man. And enjoy it. Okay, it's a good movie.
It's over the theater now. Now you can actually buy it on DVD.
I know, right? That's crazy how fast it moved. Like you can just buy it. You're right. So you can watch it. But definitely good movie. I watched it twice. I did watch it again. Lovely movie, Gary. Lovely movie. I'm not gonna say you can watch that, but I have not played the latest Zelda, which everybody's been talking about. Been so crazy with that, right? The whole world going crazy. Everybody Zelda, Zelda, Zelda. I have not played it yet. I'm gonna be honest with you, Gary. I have not played my Nintendo Switch much since you've probably been in jail. I don't know, but and one thing I want to touch base on, because you mentioned this too. You mentioned about people who turned around and sent you death threats, or people who figured they could be held liable just by speaking with you. Gary, that was something I worried about. You know, when I wrote you, I didn't worry about it at first, but when we were communicating, I was like, what if I'm being watched? But I'm not doing anything. We're literally just fucking talking. Like, I mean, what the hell could go wrong? So that's what kept me like, But I always thought that somebody got an eye on you, Gary. Do you feel like that, or have you felt like that through your life, that somebody just always got an eye on things you're doing behind the scenes? Do you feel like that sometimes?
There is always somebody. I mean, but that's the way life is right now. Everybody is being watched by somebody somewhere. Your life, everything is tracked online. So
that's true.
Unless you're gonna live in the middle of the woods and chop wood and use AM radio and not even have a cell phone or internet.
Yeah, tinfoil hat, right? To stop all the communication from coming across the Nah, you're right though. I've been like that too. I've been a person to know that tracking is there. Every single click, every single movement you're doing is there. Keystrokes are recorded in some way, form, or fashion. People wipe their hard drives, but data can still be found on there. There's a lot that people do not know. You know what I mean? And that's true about it. Now, I did worry about that, Gary. I'm be honest. I was like, man, they might. But the reason being, Gary, I'm gonna tell you a couple things for me. I was beta testing mod chips. Okay, I remember when those mod chips came out, and I was like, ooh, I got a beta test. Oh my gosh! And I was so happy to be a young kid. Gary, I did not know the shit was gonna go all the way to here. You know what I mean? Like, who would have thought? I'm gonna ask you this, Gary. Did you ever, for 1 second, think shit was gonna hit the fan like this?
Not really.
Not
I
really.
didn't think it was so far, but I mean, it was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought it would just be the resellers that would be targeted, which some of them are.
Yep.
And they still most likely they will be.
Yep.
Resellers, the ones that have to worry about, that are actually buying the mods, even the new mods that I heard about from China and stuff. And selling all, that's what people have to worry about. The small end user doesn't really have to worry on the low end. It's only people supplying services and buying and selling. Those are the people that have to worry.
And you know that's still going, Gary. There's a new damn chip that came out not long ago. Like, it ain't stopping. Okay, new chips everywhere. It's still going. All right, but I had to mention that because that was something I thought about. And Tom Dilts Jr., who is someone I actually knew, Uber chips, I think it was $2 million settlement for Uber chips. I was actually speaking with Tom Dilts before everything happened, before the cease and desist, before all the, so a lot of these things I kind of felt a huge part of just watching it develop. And You were one, Gary, that I heard your name for years, man. You know how many times I heard Gary OPA? Like I heard it so much, and I never like. And then all of a sudden, it's like this article comes out, and I want to say this is probably the biggest thing for, let's say, modding in gaming versus. I think the last big thing that went this far was maybe GeoHot and the PlayStation 3. Yeah. GeoHot was the last person I can think that really had a big case going on. I can't think of anyone else. So
a lot of people were upset at him because they were supporting him to go all the way to actually get a trial on site. And he ended up settling and bailing out.
He did. He bailed the hell out, and it's so funny.
Some people even want to make an actual movie about it. They had the rights for that.
Damn.
He had gone all the way around. So,
damn. Man, I remember that developing the whole big thing, and yeah, you're right. People were, and it's something about Geo because later on, I don't know if you know, he started working with Elon at Twitter. Okay, so you kind of hit with what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But he has a different type of personality.
He does.
So his problem was that he was never really a team player. He's worked for Facebook. He's worked for Tesla.
Tesla, yeah.
But his personality, he doesn't really work with coworkers and stuff. So he's always had to be on his own, just the way he is personally.
Nah, you nailed that, man. I've been in his lives before, talking with him. I've seen the land he has. I've seen the different opportunities he had at these companies working. I've heard some of these different conference meetings that he's been in. He is a guy that is straightforward. He says it. Doesn't give a shit if it pisses you off or not. And if you take it the wrong way, he doesn't care. But you're right. Sometimes that works. So I won't say that it's a bad way to go about it. If it works for you, it works. But I agree with what you said, that working with people in that case may not be the best thing. So you definitely know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm just saying that because that's Geo to the T. But I wanted to mention that because I can't think of any other case that went that big. I've been modifying just as a hobby since the original PlayStation. And I've been following a lot of groups. This case in Geo was the only two that I thought went this far. All of them either cease and desist, something stops, they shut down a factory, seize it, whatever it may be. Why do you think Nintendo is the reason this went this far? Because I believe if it was Sony or Xbox, we wouldn't even be having this discussion.
Well, each company takes their own way of doing it. Nintendo does enforcement. That's the way they're focused on. They're focused on doing enforcement. They think that's the best solution.
Okay.
And in the interim, it probably is. It does really help. Xbox, they took a different approach.
They did.
When it came to the Xbox One, they actually bought the hacks from Team Executor. They studied it. They researched what the team did, how they got into the system, and what the weaknesses were. And they even did a TED Talk, I think it was, by their main specialists on security, and they analyzed it. They spent a lot of effort on research analyzing before they released the Xbox One. So they came up with new types of ways that they figure would be harder to crack. And so far, it seems to be working with the new system.
You're right.
It is a very complex system, and they have a lot of ways around it, but they studied it.
You're right.
They basically said, well, let's sit down and figure out how people are getting into it and why they're getting into it.
Smart.
So they took a different approach.
They did. And I remember when I first actually got into like doing hardware mods, right? And I was speaking to this guy named Geeb back in the IRC days. Okay. This is back when IRC was very popular. I was speaking with Geeb, who actually was the one, like my mentor, who taught me everything. And I realized that he had me watch a security video for Xbox 360. This is right before I started doing mods and the DBG flashes and the JTags. Already before all that, he actually had me watch a video. And the video was the security on the Xbox 360. And it was showing the vulnerabilities of the original OG Xbox and how they were hacked pretty much every way, right? I mean, the memory card, hard drive, video game hacks. I mean, you could get into the system hundreds of ways. But the video he showed me, they did attack everything. They wanted to make sure you couldn't get into their system from a game. They also introduced, I believe, eFuses, okay, which I'd never heard of eFuses before then. And then therefore, if you modify your system a certain way, now if you run an update and certain eFuse is blown or changed, your system no longer works or something doesn't function the same way. Hypervisor, which is a big thing. A lot of people talk about, oh, they're running their games in like a VM and it's hard to, without all these checks in place, these things don't go. Do you think right now Microsoft, as far as video game consoles, probably is number one, taking security seriously?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
They take security serious across the whole system, between not just their consoles, also their operating systems, their servers, their cloud system. So all together, their infrastructure is protected, not just on the hardware side, but also online.
Agreed. Now, we got a couple more because we don't have too much. So I'm going to go through these. John, thank you for the donation. John just donated $3, just said, thanks for coming. All right. So you just got $3 donated. Also, Chelsea, thank you for another donation. We really appreciated that. It says, has your relationship with your girlfriend, this would be a woman, Gary. This would be a woman question. Has your relationship with your girlfriend stayed strong since you've been inside? Are you looking forward to seeing her when you get out? That's a woman question right there for you.
Yeah, I know. It's a difficult question to answer, but I have two issues to deal with. One, an ex-wife back in Canada, which I haven't seen since 2010. So I got to deal with that when I get back to Canada. Mm-hmm. And then the girlfriend issue, that would be in Dominican Republic. And I still talk to her at least once every 1 or 2 days. Okay. The relationship really isn't affected, but I still have to make decisions when I go back to there of what I'm going to do. Exactly. I mean, she's been supportive in a lot of ways, but she's a poor. The good thing with her is I made sure she was set up in business before I left, so she had her own little hair salon, so she doesn't need any money or nothing.
Okay, nice.
She sends like $20 once a month to me.
Nice. That is nice.
Money, which is a lot of money from that type of country.
It is.
Yeah. So
now
we'll see what happens.
This one, somebody says, "Oh, Nick asks, is he going to bring back his new site?" I don't even know what that means, man. You know, Gary, are you going? I remember you said hosting websites and something you're looking into website building. Has there been any restrictions or anything with what you can do as far as hosting and building and managing websites?
No, there's no restrictions on what I can do on the internet except for discussing Nintendo. That's about it. Good. So anything else I can do technology wise. Nice. Just on social media and on the internet. No discussion about Nintendo.
Okay.
That's basically the only thing it's going to be.
Good. No, I like that, man, because I'm not going to lie, Gary. If I see you slipping up, I might say, Gary, hey, don't say, we got to keep it safe here, okay? I want you to get paid. But, Gary, it's very funny that you told about earlier that the amount of people was a lot less than you thought, because that was the same thing with me when I got locked up. Gary, I thought I was the most loved individual in the world. I thought nobody would. I said, man, I'm locked up. The world gonna stop for me. Like I'm that important to my. It didn't, man. And you realize quick that the days go on in jail and people live their lives, and they're outside and you become forgot about. And in one token, it made me like, it sucks. But at the same token, I kind of didn't get mad at them, and I understood because it's rough. Some people didn't even want to see me behind those bars. They hated to see me in that situation. They hated to look at me at a point where I'm down. And I'm because, but that was the point where I needed the help. A lot of people didn't know that. So it's a tough thing. But when you get out, Gary, has that changed the way you're going to be handling those relationships?
It's going to be interesting. I'm gonna, like I said before, I'm going to limit myself to what friends I have and stuff. Yeah. And I'm going to be more thoughtful about who I deal with and what I do. That's about it.
You're right. Being selfless, for me, that's what I found the most important thing. Some people who are selfless, who just like, hey, here, man, I'm going to give this to you. I'm like, why are you giving it to me? Just because. You're like, oh, hey, this somebody that really cares. Now we got another donation because we got like 2 minutes left. It said, now, Magnus, the person who asked the question about the website, said, is this going to be would you bring a news website out or would you be doing a different name? What type of website or anything would you do if you were to put up one?
For now, the only type of website I'm going to have is be about my Texas stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to do about anything else. But we only have a minute left, and it's count time here now, too. So
I know.
I got to end this phone call.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, man. It's great. Do your Thug Dizzle. Once you get off, I'll talk to the live for a second or two, and then I'll, jump off. But that's great. These donations I did get, I'm going to be sending directly to you. So once you get out, we just have to figure out Cash App or PayPal or how. PayPal will be easier because I can just transfer it right to you. So this is good. So Gary, we'll set up another hour one for tomorrow. Then that way we can get one more going, and there'll be some questions. I'll post this so people can be ready, and we can get some more questions next time. But other than that, Gary, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy your day.
Later, man. All right, there we go. We out and combo over. That was a great call quality. Let me take that out real quick. All right, because pink up. There we go. All right, I'll pull me up big screen for a second. All right, let's jump back to it. Bam. Okay, there we go. Man, that was nice. That was perfect. Let's just go ahead and go. All right, I can close. Now I ain't got to worry about notifications showing. Nothing like that. Hey, man, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But, yo, that was wonderful, man. I was glad to have that combo. I never thought that hour combo was probably the best one. I'm not going to lie. I've had a lot of conversations with Gary. I even have conversations that I haven't uploaded yet. But it was real big because I seemed like we got a lot of personal things out of Gary. It didn't really seem like he was just kind of just saying whatever. It seemed like it was real personable. He mentioned about other people and how he didn't get the amount of letters and love or respect to people he even reached out to. He said some people turned around and gave him death threats. What the? Who does that? Like, yo, you help me. Then he write me, hey, can you give me a little help? If you write me again, I'm chopping your goddamn. Like, who does that, man? So other than that, man, I ain't going to hold everybody up. This was real early. I usually don't do these that early, but I am going to be doing them earlier. It seems like more people are up, more people are around. So instead of doing it later with Gary, we will be doing the podcast later though. All right. So don't forget that podcast is coming. All right. So other than that, man, I'm gonna roll out because we got podcast later. So it's your boy Nick Moses, Dr. Specimen, Chelsea's Way, Magnets, Shane, my man Jake, whoever else I did not name. Shout out to you who I missed. My man JTO. Oh man, how do I ain't see JTO there, man? JTO, where you been, JTO? That's my dog, man. JTO, my dog. Man. All right, we got everybody. And Shane Cockburn. Oh, you in Bali? You know, Bali, let me find. Shane be traveling. Yo, I gotta get my passport game up, man. All right, I got my passport, but my game ain't up. Obviously, everybody else's is. So, yo, other than that, man, I appreciate y'all your time, man. Love y'all. Y'all know how we gonna do. I'm gonna try to get in the Discord later because I got some business to talk about with a couple people. All right. Trying to grow the brand. So we got some things, some special things. So other than that, peace.